Hello and welcome to this later in the morning taste challenge. Excuse me. Oh, let's see here. This. We from 2012 Larceny small batch from John Fitzgerald Brewing, but it's distilling, but it's actually Heaven Hill these days. They started it. They didn't start Old Fitzgerald, but they acquired it. Anyway, it's got this nice heavy glass bottle. Daryl Macias, good morning, Ronald. Good morning to you, Daryl. And it's got a key because it's got a story about John Fitzgerald and some perhaps criminality and all of this. So this is 46% alcohol. It's a wheated bourbon, meaning the wheat is the second grain in the mash bill. So it's going to be softer more than spicy rye. Now the competitor is Stedman Select, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, sour mash, slow matured in select American white oak barrels. Still have a lot of it left. You see that Sazerac bottle, same as Ancient Age or Benchmark. This big, huge bottle here is at Walmart for $19.49 and at Total Wine & More for 50 cents cheaper, $18.99. $18.99 at Total Wine & More. Nice matte finish. Introduced in 2018, the legendary Stedman Select Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, sour mash, slow matured. Okay, it's 43% alcohol, and it is from Louisville, Kentucky. Ebenezer Stedman first used the term bourbon to describe the local distillation that would later become the drink of choice. So Ebenezer Hiram Stedman and his brother Sam acquired their Bluegrass Region Mill complex in 1833. So a famous person you probably never heard of, but they dredge up these old names and they use them for their products. I'm not saying I'm against it. It's just that it's not like Ebenezer Hiram Stedman is a commonly well-known name. It's like coming up with holidays that nobody ever heard of, because of some, well, this is done for commerce, at least. Although that other stuff is done for like social and other isms. Okay, social and other isms. Let me put that sour mash. I think sour mash is going to make a difference. It'll give it that sourdough taste. And then Sazerac tends to make their whiskeys kind of high rye. So there's no website page for this. That's why I put no website listing. But I did put a link to Total Wine & More because they got a description of it, obviously, which was given to them from the distributor, which was given to the distributor from Sazerac. And the local distributor here, Republic National, handles all the Sazerac products because they used to be owned by Sazerac. But the U.S. government said, oh, you can't own it. We have a 3-tier system. The distiller can't own the distributor. So William Goring had to sell it off probably to family and friends. But I don't support these regulations, you see. Okay, so this will be the Stedmans. My friend David wanted me to give him some drinks. I poured a 375 into a 375 Maker's Mark. And he tried it. But I went to his house like a month ago. And he said, look, I said, you still got almost a whole bottle. I said, I didn't give it to you so you could stick it in a bottle, keep it in a bottle on the cabinet and never drink it. It doesn't need to be part of your whiskey museum. So next time I see him, I'm going to say, look, if you're not going to drink it, I'll take it back and I can use it in taste challenges. That's the reason I bought it. I can buy you another bottle of whiskey that you could actually drink. I don't understand that. That's just me. If I get something, I'm going to drink it. It's going to get drunk. So real cork. One thing I really cannot stand is a product just lingering on my shelf. It drives me buggy, I just hate every time I see it. So if I have it, I'm going to drink it. It's getting drunk. I'm telling you, there is going to be a purpose to it. It is getting taken care of. You say, well, you got all these bottles of bourbon, blended whiskey, Canadian blended whiskey, Irish whiskey, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I do. But there's a purpose to them, and they're all going to be taken care of, and they're all going to be systematically addressed. I've got a schedule for all of those. Might sound screwball or whatever, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think it's strange because I got all these bottles, most of which I bought, not all of which, but most. Half are unopened. And I said, I'm going to do it according to a schedule. So I'm coming up next week. Next Wednesday should be, if things go well, should be the end of the bourbon taste challenges for now. So then for next Thursday, I need to do a solo review of Four Queens American blended whiskey, 100 proof. Excuse me, 101 proof. Sorry, 101. Four Queens 101. And maybe I'll make Boilo. I got to read the recipe for Boilo. I'm not going to do this big complicated thing. But then I'm going to go through that process. Or if you live in Canada, that process. And then I have the Irish whiskey. Tullamore DEW. Tullamore Dew. People call it DEW. So somebody's initials. And then I got single malt, the Glenlivet 12, and then I have blended Irish Scotch whiskey, the Dewar's 12-year aged. When I get to that, and I'll tell you the price, you're going to claim I'm lying, but I'm not. Then we'll be done with whiskey. So then I've got brandy, the Delacour brandy. And I got a lot of interesting information about that cheap brandy, Delacour. They use it in so many restaurants in New Orleans, Galatoire's, Broussard's, Antoine's, Hermes Bar. And I'm thinking, it's strange that they use Delacour, but they do. Okay. And then we got rum, and then we got vodka. I mean, not vodka. Then we have what you call that stuff? Tequila, and then mezcal, and it goes round and round. But there's a system to it. Appearance. Well, the same. So I have to pour a little bit more Larceny. No cork in the Stedman Select, just a metal cap. So it's about as budget as they come, right? $18.99 for a 1,750 milliliter bottle. And Larceny is $26 just for the regular size bottle. So with Stedman Select, you're getting 1,000 extra milliliters, but you're paying $7 less per bottle. So it would appear to be that this would be an outrageous mismatch, right? Like, how could it be more of a mismatch? I'm not answering it until after I'm done. Not going to happen. All right. Should put it on silent. All right, so it seemed like an outrageous mismatch, you know, like it could never be more of one. But Sazerac can surprise you. You see, they can really shock you because they have a low price point for many of their products, but it'll be good. It'll be good. So the appearance is the same, like caramel, like amber, or I guess you call it amber gold, not caramel. Sorry about that. Amber gold. Caramel is more like tan. Proof, 86 proof versus 92. So 3% higher alcohol level. It's a difference, not much of one, 3%, but it could make a difference. One is wheated, and one is sour mash. So by all estimations, it should be sort of like, you know, we can tell them apart. Has Larceny done bad in these taste challenges? Hasn't done bad. It just hasn't really stood out, either good or bad. So it's just kind of like just regular old bourbon. $26 normal price. So it's just kind of like just regular. I don't know how else to say it. Okay. This smells kind of soft. You get the vanilla, the quintessential whiskey aroma, as you would call it. Smell like American whiskey, but corn, in other words. Subdued sweetness. Probably Larceny because of not getting too much spice. But let's go over here. And you see now this one seems to have a little more spiciness to it. Notice I said seems to have. So initially, in my thinking, in my estimating, that's the Larceny and that's the Stedman Select. I got it wrong this morning. I went Blanton's against Larceny. Now think about that. Blanton's, more than twice the price. Similar proof. No age statement for either one, so don't know how old they are. I couldn't even tell them apart. So I wasn't really shocked because I don't find that Blanton's really stands out above and beyond all the rest. I like it, especially since I didn't pay for it. She gave it to me, a friend of mine, who I've known for over 20 years, 24 years. Wow, hard to believe. But so, but I said this early on with Blanton's. I said, to me, it tastes like a fancy Buffalo Trace. Now, some people say, oh, no, you can't say that on the internet. They got people paying a lot of money for Blanton's. Buffalo Trace is $20. Well, do a blind taste challenge. I didn't do a blind taste challenge. I'm just going by my recollection. I could be wrong. Mackerel says hi. Hello, Mackerel. All right, now let's go with the taste. Well, okay. Strong. Maybe 86 proof. A lot of rye, though, in that flavor. A lot of spiciness, which some people might find harsh or sharp. Kind of Sazerakian in the sense that it seems to be high rye. Okay, so in the nose, I thought it was Larceny, but now I'm starting to think it's the Stedman Select. Is Stedman Select a common brand? No, it's only been on the market 3 years, but it could grow. Like I say, there it is at Walmart. There it is at Total Wine and More. You don't really see people talking about it, but it's there. It exists. So sometimes Sazerac might have just said, stick it on the shelf, see if it takes off. We're not putting a lot of money into it anyway, so if it just kind of lingers around, no loss. But it looks like I get the impression that it's doing well, or relatively well. A lot softer here in the taste. Seems higher proof though, a little more burn, but soft, like no rye spice. Okay, okay. Is Larceny more rounded than the Stedman's? I suppose it is. It's got less jagged edges on the sip. Notice I never say, let me take a drink. I always thought that was shocking when I would hear video reviewers say, now I'm going to take another drink. I never heard that expression before. I started looking at YouTube videos. I just never did. People around here say, I'm going to take a sip. So in this area, southeastern Louisiana, I've always heard people say, well, let me take a sip. Here, you take a sip. What do you think? Let me try it. I'm going to take another sip. Okay, that's just how people speak. But never in my life did I hear somebody say, I'm going to take another drink. That's just not a term that's used. They'll say, I'm going to order a drink, noun, a noun. I'm going to order a drink. or let's have drinks, or I'm drinking it, verb. But I honestly never heard anybody say, I'm going to take a drink. I just never heard that. So it could be some northern way of speaking because I just don't know of that. I was talking to a lady yesterday and she was saying, my car is over yonder. Well, no one around here says that. Yonder. That's an Anglo-American speech pattern or word usage. Now, if you go north of Lake Pontchartrain, north of Lake Maurepas, in the Anglo-American part of Louisiana, where you got last names like Baker, Smith, Jones, Wilson, Williams, Jackson, so on, they'll say that. I'll say, where's your house? It's over yonder. No one here says that ever. I've actually never heard that except on like Western television shows or maybe the Waltons. But around here, people say it's over there. It's over there. You know, it's that way or something. But they don't say over yonder. So just within Louisiana, you have different speech patterns. Over there by Bogalusa, in that area, heading toward Mississippi, they'll say, help me pack these books. I thought they meant pack them like they were going on a trip. They need to pack them in a bag or, a carry case or something, or in a storage. I remember the first time that girl told me that, help me pack these books. I thought, pack? What does that mean, pack the books? She meant carry them, help her carry the books. I said, pack the books. Okay. And I heard people say, save the dishes. Never heard that before. Save the dishes. They meant put them away in the cabinet. Help me save the dishes. I said, were they drowning? They need to be rescued? All right. I have no bike seat and my chain keeps detaching and I hit my toe. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You may need to go buy a bike. All right. Be a good idea. Okay. So I'm going to call it. I think instead of talking about idiosyncratic speech patterns across the United States regions, like people, the next town up the river, they'll say, I'm going to come by your house. I never heard that before until I was in public school with other people. You, says Burley Sullivan. In this town, people say, I'm going to come to your house. I'm going to come to your house later. Now, they might say, I'm going to pass by your house and come see you, something like that. But usually they just say, I'm going to come on over. I'm going to come over later, or something like that. But I remember these people in the next town, Reserve, Louisiana, were talking about, I went by your house yesterday. I just thought they meant they drove past it. I said, okay. But they really meant they came to the house and I wasn't there. Like they were using the wrong preposition. I thought they always say that too over there. I'm going to come by your house tomorrow. And I would always say, why are you coming by? Why don't you come to it? Why are you just passing in front of it? Is some kind of reason. So that's strange. Just one town to the next, different expressions. This has got to be I don't know if it's got to be because these things can be tough. Vanilla. Well, maybe some wheat bread or whatever. It just seems more rounded. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. What do I know for whiskey? I mean, I taste them and all of that, but I'm not any kind of expert. I haven't been in any kind of training. I didn't go to Texas and take a whiskey marketing school thing where everybody gets a diploma. You know what I mean? A degree. But you know what I'm saying? Like I just taste stuff and see what it tastes like. All right, I think this is the Larceny. It is. I feel better now. Where I'm from, we said stop by or swing by. I think I might have heard swing by, like we'll swing by later on. But usually I heard that expression like in these 1950s movies with guys wearing leather jackets and riding motorbikes. They'll say, later on, we'll swing by. That kind of thing. Maybe a movie like that, but Marlon Brando or something. Going to swing by, Daddy-o. that made more sense to me, although no one ever speaks like that around here. Maybe in a play, like a community theater play. This week, Rebel Without a Cause at the community theater. And, they have that local community theater music. We're rebels without a cause. We've got no cause, but yet we're still rebels. We don't know what we're rebelling against, and all of that. And when you're little, you like it. You're like, oh, I'm going to a play. And then when you're older, like, man, I hope this hurries up and ends. It's so boring. But that thing about I'm gonna come by your house, that was very strange to me. Very strange. Well, even my parents use words that I thought were very strange. I always called that white stuff you put on bread mayonnaise. Let me use some mayonnaise. Seems plausible. You see commercials on TV. Hellman's mayonnaise. It's the most wonderful mayonnaise in the world. And then my parents are saying, we're going to put some mayonnaise on it. As a child, I remember thinking, mayonnaise. And I just remember thinking, who speaks like this? Mayonnaise. I said, it's not spelled Mahnez, mayonnaise. Why do you say this? And they would always say that, put some mayonnaise. And I would just say to myself, it's clearly mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, you put it together, mayonnaise, mayo, mayonnaise. In New Orleans, people eat lunch at noon, but in Baton Rouge, they eat dinner. They eat breakfast, and then at midday, they eat dinner, and then at night, they eat supper, which is like a sandwich with a few chips. It's a very small meal. In New Orleans, they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at night. Oh, man. All right. But, of course, everybody in Louisiana says neutral ground for the, the mid part. You got a 4-lane highway, 2 lanes going north, 2 lanes going south, and there's the middle part with the grass, or maybe it's just concrete or something, but usually grass. In other cities, apparently, they call it a median, M-E-D-I. I didn't have trouble understanding that because median means in between. So when I first saw that, I didn't think much of it. But around here, people call it neutral ground. The neutral ground. They'll say, I parked my car up on the neutral ground so it wouldn't get flooded. And that's what I heard my whole life, that middle part was the neutral ground. And you see that on the interstate. Look how that car swerved off onto the neutral ground. That's what they call it. And then, a big highway with cars flying, and you got to take an entrance and exit ramp on it. That's called an expressway here. An expressway. Pontchartrain Expressway. But apparently in other states, they call it a freeway. A freeway. But I guess in California, they say, oh, dude, we're going to go on the freeway. But around here, they say expressway. Can you break down the juice strengths? Well, I can't really because I can't get them. I can't get them to break them down. I have to go to Mississippi to get juice. And the problem with that is they're only 10%, which is probably better. But yeah, next time I go to Mississippi, I'll get a few juice strengths. They'll be 10%, which, like I say, is better. Now, the 4 Loko in Mississippi is 10. And honestly, that's probably better. The 14 is just too hard. It's too strong. I don't like to drink something where you have to be careful every time you take a sip. Let me drink a sip. Let me take a sip. And then in an hour, I'll take another sip. And then eventually it'll be gone. It's like beer does not need to be that strong. It's a joke. It's stupid. It's idiocy, really. But are those junk beers, 4 Loko and things like that? I call them junk beers. I call them junk beers myself. Still, sometimes they score an A. You say, an A. How could it be a junk beer and be an A? Well, because it's well made and it's excellent, most excellent, and all the flavors are good, but it's still junk beer. I don't have any illusions to that around that. But I know what I'm drinking. People like to tell me things that I know already. Like they'll make comments. You know, that's like Wild Irish Rose, for instance. You know, a lot of bums drink that. And I'm like, really? Wild Irish Rose? I thought it was only sold at the most exclusive hotels in New Orleans, Savannah, Georgia, and New York City. You know, I mean, you don't need to tell me what is obviously apparent. We know what people eat. We know who drinks Night Train, Thunderbird. I don't think they make Night Train anymore. Wild Irish Rose and MD 2010. We know. I mean, we know already. I mean, we knew this. I started my channel in 2010. Well, I knew this in 2000. You know, 2000. I mean, we know. So we don't need to know what we know. We appreciate your advice, but we know already. Or people will say stuff like, "Oh, that's a cheap whiskey. Don't you know that?" And I say, "Yeah, I know that because I bought it." I assumed it was cheap since it was $5.99 a liter. And when I bought the Johnny Walker Blue Label, that was $226 plus tax. I assumed it was expensive because, you know, I paid over $200 for it. I'm not trying to be smart aleck or be a jerk. I'm just saying, I mean, some things are just obvious, like telling me, well, you know, water is 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Well, I mean, I know. Monka S says, still afraid to drink Skull. I'm not afraid to drink Skull. I was thinking about you the other day. I couldn't remember your name, but I was saying I ought to pass by Walgreens and get Skull. But I said, nah, I don't want to drink vodka. I don't care if it's like 10 cents. I don't want it because I'm just not interested in vodka. It's fine. Vodka's fine. Vodka's great. Havana's great. But I got a pretty dedicated focus right now on particular types of products, and it doesn't include vodka. But there's so many people on the internet that do vodka reviews, almost an endless amount. So, I mean, you can encourage them to get Skull. I can get it for very cheap. Skull 1, Ron 0. Yeah, it wins. So I concede that. It's the victor and I'm the loser, but I'm very pleased to be the loser. You can handle whiskey, but are too afraid of the vodka. I'm not afraid of vodka, like I tried to say. I know you're being silly and all. I'm not interested in it. There's many yogurts I could do reviews on. I'm not interested in yogurt, nor am I interested in doing video reviews for yogurt. No knock against yogurt. Very pro yogurt. All right. So anyway, but that's the way it goes. Gin, I could do gin all day, all week, all month, all year, all decade, all century. Have no interest in gin. If I never drank gin the rest of my life, I'd be delighted. Am I talking bad about gin? No, I'm not interested in it. My daughter can handle that. She said she might start a channel one day. I know she's not going to start a channel one day. But, you know, at least she could say she might. Skull. Gin is gross and tasteless, says Mako. It's not tasteless. I prefer Amsterdam. Yeah, I've had that. Actually, I've had the one with the flag, you know, the French flag on it. It was a pretty good gin, actually. It was a green bottle. I know where to buy it for really cheap, although usually it's not so cheap. They mainly deal with vodka. The company mainly makes vodka. And it's got the French flag on it, like the blue, the white, and the red. But they have a gin. It's called got the liter bottles, glass. I mean, I could find this thing anywhere. Grey Goose? No, it's not Grey Goose. I like New Amsterdam London Dry Gin. I know about New Amsterdam. No, it's called it's a green bottle. Now the vodka is blue. If you get their vodkas, they're always blue. It's like different blue for different ones that they make. It's blue this, blue that, blue that. But their gin is a green bottle. Nothing unusual there because Tanqueray is green. So everybody tries to make their gin green, right? Tanqueray is green. So then they got Miles's gin green. This thing I'm thinking about green. And Even Taka gin. You say, no, they don't make Taka gin. They do make Taka gin. It's rare, and it's actually pretty highly regarded. It's got that green striped label. So it's the, you know, gin is always green. Light beer is always blue and silver. Vodka's always got red. Generally, you know what I mean? Like Sapphire. Are you afraid of COVID? COVID vax? I'm not afraid of it. I'm just not going to take it because I got good sense. Sky, Sapphire. No, it's I think it starts with a P, a letter P. Pinnacle. That's the name of it. How you feel, plate? Pinnacle gin, but they mostly make Pinnacle vodka. Pinnacle vodka is very common. Everybody sells it. It's got that blue label. The blue bottle, you know, it's a kind of a typical shape. You know, like a unique shape for Pinnacle vodka. Pinnacle. Been around for so long, but they got Pinnacle gin, but that one's hard to find. Just take plenty of vitamin D. Okay. Ron, you are what is known as a scaredy cat, says Monka. Okay. Well, I appreciate your I don't know what to call that. All right. Anyway, but getting back to planet Earth, thanks for watching this video production. And so Stedman Select, does it lose to Larceny? It certainly doesn't lose. Does not lose. I could tell them apart. If I was buying bourbon, which one would I buy? Stedman Select or Larceny? Easily Stedman Select. $18.99 for 1,750 milliliters. There's no question about that. So if you want to save money and get a really good bourbon, get Stedman Select. Why would you pay? You know, I don't get that. Why would you pay $26 for this? Although my friend David got it at $13. Amazing, right? But why would you pay $26 for this? Right? You say, but they got a nice website. They got a sweepstakes this month. I could win a Camaro. Okay, well, good. Then buy it. But why would you buy this for $26 when you could buy this for $18.99 for this huge bottle, which is arguably just as good, and I would say it is just as good and maybe better. Maybe, I don't know about, I would go that far, but I know in my case, there is no way in this life or the next I'm going to buy Larceny for $26 when I can buy that huge handle bottle of Stedman Select glass, not plastic, for $18.99. It ain't going to happen. So who's the winner today? You know who the winner is. It's Stedman Select. Well, there's the Sazerac magic. There's your Sazerac magic. You ever notice something about Sazerac? You say what? The fact that they always kind of win? Right. Buffalo Trace and Sazerac have this bad habit of winning all the time. What's going on with that? All right. Thanks for watching this video production.